everybody. I'm Boyd Pierce, your host on Mid-South Wrestling Television. I'm glad you joined us. A lot of exciting action coming up. We'll see Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer in action here this week. Also, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions Wendell Cooley and Al Perez will be in action. The unpredictable Mr. Dick Slater is on the card, and Nick Patrick takes on the rugged Ted DiBiase. But tag team action, it'll be Dirty Dutch Mantell and El Casario against Jake the Snake and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. To tell you all about it, along with Jim Duggan, who's here with us now, the president of Mid-South Sports, Cowboy Bill Watts.
Well, we're going to be talking to Jim Duggan shortly, but Boyd, first of all, we have an announcement. The Barbarian has mysteriously disappeared. Now, Humperdinck later is going to, I'm sure, accuse Jake the Snake Roberts of some illegal tactics, and maybe Hacksaw Duggan's involved, and he's, I think, claiming a parking lot situation, and certainly you've had some bad experience in those, and I know that, well, I won't say anything. I'm not going to draw any conclusions. But right now, the North American title situation is hotter than ever because of remarks made by Ric Flair. There's more top contenders than ever. Hacksaw Butch Reed. Standing to my left here, Jim Duggan. Ted DiBiase's back. Jake the Snake Roberts. Unpredictable Dick Slater here on some kind of a mission. Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, Al Perez, a lot of really tough competitors. This situation's really heated up, and Ric Flair made some comments to Jim Ross in Alexandria the other day. Let's listen to these comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, as all you fans in the Mid-South know, the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair has created quite a controversial situation, as he usually does inside the squared circle. But this time, the words of Ric Flair has created perhaps the most controversial situation surrounding the North American title in the history of Mid-South.
Jim, it's very simply this. I've made it very clear to the officials of Mid-South and to the National Wrestling Alliance that I will not defend the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship against anyone in this area other than the North American Heavyweight Champion. Now, if that's Murdoch, that's fine. If that's Reed, that's fine. If that's Jim Duggan, that's fine. It seems like the three of them are in the middle of a big controversy themselves. That's not my personal problem. I'm Ric Flair. I'm the man that, whether you want to believe it or not, dictates the wrestling scene around the world. And I'm making it clear to you, Mr. Ross. I'm making it clear to the officials of Mid-South. And I've made it very clear to the president of the NWA that when I come into this part of the country, I'm only going to defend the title against the North American Heavyweight Champion, regardless of who it is. You're not going to force me into matches with Murdoch, Reed, or Duggan unless one of them is wearing the North American title, and that's the bottom line.
I want to say one thing that's crystal clear. As president of Mid-South, and matchmaker Grizzly Smith will bear this out, and so will Jim Crockett of the NWA, that Ric Flair doesn't get to pick his matches. I don't care what he says. But he's really added some intensity to the North American title. And I'll tell you one thing, there's a couple of guys, and one is standing real close to me, that he doesn't want to wrestle again because you had about the toughest match that I've ever seen in Alexandria.
Well, I tell you, it was really a surprise for me because, you know, a lot of times old Hacksaw loses his composure and gets disqualified real quick. But I kept my composure. I kept on battling. And Ric Flair, the great competitor he is, he had more than his hands full, I'm glad to say.
Well, let's show the fans the closing moments. Now, we're about 25 minutes into a grueling match for the world's title. All the prestige and money riding. And Ric Flair has found that Duggan has pushed him to the wall. He can't handle it. He's looking for a way out. Let's look at the closing moments of that match.
A grueling match, Jim Duggan, and there you see Ric Flair going for his pet hold, the figure four leg lock, which no one can break. But fortunately, because of your football and your background and God's gift to you of size, your legs are big, and he has not got your leg, that's the figure four part, up high enough where it's into your knee that causes that excruciating pain. You've got it slipped down there to the shin area, and he can't really complete the figure four leg lock. It looks like you're trying to get out of it desperately.
Well, that's right, Cowboy. That was one of them fancy Dan moves that old Hacksaw's not too used to. But I just know if I kept plugging and kept working and try to tuck my hips, that I could flip him over and reverse that fancy Dan hold.
That's right, and now the pain goes to him because his legs are in that perfect figure four position. You've got him in a lot of pain there, but he's slapped He slapped Tommy Gilbert. What you couldn't see on camera there was Ric Flair reached out and slapped the referee, Tommy Gilbert, to get Tommy Gilbert to disqualify him, intentionally getting him disqualified to save his title.
Well, it caught me off guard a little bit there. For a second, I thought I've actually won the world's title there, and now the referee is going to go disqualify. But, of course, a little persuasion. I want a real good shot at that title, and I don't want no disqualification. I want a piece of Ric Flair. And, of course, there you see the referee says go ahead and wrestle.
And Ric Flair's really unhappy. He thought he'd saved his title. He's a desperate man. He doesn't want to face you there. He knows the tremendous backing you have all throughout the Mid-South and the tremendous determination you have.
So there you go. A little bit over-anxious, shows maybe a little bit of inexperience in a type of World Championship type match, but that's just the way I am. I got to go for it 110% with a gusto, and he just kind of caught me with that quick knee.
Now he's going out, and he has decided to go ahead and try to injure you by running your head in that steel post, which also is a disqualification. There he goes intentionally.
Well, now he's in my territory. He wants to get down and start fighting on the floor. He's talking hacksaw Jim Duggan's type of match. And of course, so there again, I lost my head and went ahead and rammed his head into the turnbuckle, not realizing it was disqualification. And then here the referee is. And of course, now the realization of the DQ is coming through. But again, the referee decided it's one DQ for each of us.
I guess he decided tit for tat there, but Ric Flair badly lacerated. He's really upset that the referee's not calling this match a disqualification and saving his title. He's desperate. The champion's been pushed to the wall. There you go, trying to vertical suplex from the outside in. We hear Tommy Gilbert telling you to break the hold, that he's not in the ring, that you can't bring him in that way.
Well, suplex is not really in my arsenal of weapons, but when you're in a World Championship match, you kind of pull out all the stops, do whatever it is necessary, and here I'm trying some things that I usually don't try.
Well, Tommy Gilbert making no count or anything. I think he wants to give Ric Flair time to recover since you pulled him into the ring from the outside, which is an illegal maneuver. He won't count the fall there. He's telling you to let him up. But of course, in the heat of the battle, you know you got the advantage. You got to fight in the way he's been doing you.
A little loss of composure there. I just go back to brass tacks, good old 1-2 American know-how. Now I'm going to set for that spear. That fine NFL training showing. I set down there. You can see a good three-point stance, good acceleration out of the blocks, and
right there. I want to call for the slow motion of that because this was a critical point. You saw Tommy Gilbert out to the right. As you're coming for that spear, we see Ric Flair pull Tommy Gilbert into the way. He threw the referee's body in between him and yourself, dove out of the way, and you annihilated the referee here. And I think that was a straw that broke the camel's back. But it all shows the desperation of Ric Flair trying so hard to hang on to the title. He's forgotten about trying to beat you, Jim. He's just trying to hang on.
Well, of course, fatigue has started to take its toll now in a long, grueling match like it is. And I do agree with you there that he did pull Gilbert deliberately in front of me, trying to cause a disqualification.
And Gilbert's calling for the bell. He's had it. He just says this is out of control. He's calling for the bell. Jim Duggan, the winner. You hear the crowd behind you. You are the winner. But Gilbert is disqualifying the world's champion, Ric Flair. He's finally managed to save his title. He lost the war, he lost the battle, but he got out of there with the gold.
Of course, in all the heat of the battle, I lost the idea that I don't get the belt on a disqualification. Here I am celebrating with the fans because that's what it's all about. It's a fan's belt, and I just love to bring it home.
As I say, Ric Flair barely escaped the title, certainly not his pride. You took him to the wall, and 3 times there was a situation that called for disqualification. I think Tommy Gilbert, the referee, really stayed with it a long time, too.
Well, he certainly did, and I'm glad to say that he went that far with it, because I thought Ric Flair, hey, why don't you shut your mouth? I think Ric Flair, it's hard for me to concentrate, Mr. Watts, with the way this trash out
You
here.
remember the rules, that if you're here at the desk, you can't jump in the ring. It's a $2,500 fine. I see Buzz Sawyer out there challenges. He's trying to take a cheap shot, but let's just cool it right.
If he wants a shot of hacksaw Duggan, he'll find I'm not a hard man to get a hold of.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to get this under order, and we'll be back after this break, boys.
This match on Mid-South Wrestling one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the red corner at 255 pounds from St. Petersburg, Florida, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. His opponent weighs 225 pounds from Chicago, Mike Nichols.
The confrontation taking part, the bell has yet to ring. Mike Nichols as he takes on the chain-wielding Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. You see the referee Carl Fergie trying to get them apart before the match starts. He's explaining the rules, but you see the unruly Mad Dog. Bill, this looks like this is the first match. If it is, we're in for a wild and woolly night.
That's right. He's challenged Hacksaw Duggan even during the commercial break, and Duggan has had to be restrained. Buzz Sawyer, the man that calls himself the master of the dog collar match, and he asked Mike Nichols to put it on and go dog collar style, but Mike was, I'm sure, making it crystal clear he hadn't signed that kind of match. That kind of match is for a different breed of cat, a guy that's, you know, got one oar that's maybe not too stable in the water, because it's a brutal match. But I'll say one thing, Buzz Sawyer keeps challenging Hacksaw Duggan, and you don't have to send him an engraved invitation to come to any kind of fight. Buzz Sawyer, a tough athlete, an explosive individual, a man that's, he lives with the dogs. He's got Rottweilers, pit bulldogs, everything. He is, like I say, he sometimes is more animal than man. Powerful, explosive, 250 pounds, an international star. That the North American title situation is heating up. Everything is heating up here. Seems like it. Oh, did you see that move? Did you see that power slam? He climbed up for, he just came off. I think he just planted Mike Nichols like no man has ever been planted. One,
And
two,
the brutal
three.
tactic gains a victory for the Mad Dog, and we'll return after this word.
Mad Dog, he's got that chain out. Hold everything, Boyd. He's wrapping that chain around Mike Nichols' neck. Carl Fergie trying to restrain him. It's an automatic disqualification if you attack your man after the fall.
He had the chain that was over in the corner and use it. Now we'll be back right after this word from the exciting Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
Boyd, we almost had an unscheduled bout going on during the commercial break. Hacksaw Duggan was challenged by Buzz Sawyer, who really has a screw loose, and Sawyer was challenging him to a dog collar match. And you know, you don't have to send Duggan any invites. He came out and took the glasses and his shirt off, but was climbing in the ring, but Sawyer tried to attack him with that logging chain. Well, anyway, it's back under control, and we promised you a special video on Wendell Cooley, and Joel has it. Titled, the song is If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie by Hank Williams Jr. Let's watch this video, and then right from that into the ring is Al Perez, and Wendell Cooley will be wrestling.
If heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I don't want to go. If heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I just as soon stay home. I was one of the chosen few to be born in Alabama. I'm just like my daddy's son. I'm proud of who I am. I went through a lot of good women, shook old Jim Beam's hand. If I never see the pearly gates, I would walk through the promised land.
tag team event on Mid-South Wrestling one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first the team in the red corner. At 225 pounds from Romania, Gypsy Joe. His partner weighs 233 pounds from Miami Beach, Florida, Brody Chase. Their opponents, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions. Introducing first at 238 pounds from Tampa, Florida, Al Perez. His partner at 236 pounds from San Antonio, Texas, Wendell Wildcat Cooley.
Brody Chase and his partner, the experienced Gypsy Joe, take on the popular tag team champions of Mid-South, Al Perez and Wendell Cooley. Now you see Tommy Gilbert calling the bell. One man is Gypsy Joe against Wendell Cooley. Here's Bill.
Well, Wendell Cooley, a youngster that finally got a chance to stardom and really has come through. He came here, he had a lot of fire, a lot of desire. He was booked in a lot of matches against main eventers. He gave a good accounting of himself. He learned the hard way. And I think, without a doubt, I've got to agree with most fans, when they faced Sweet Hand and Dr. Death, they were thinking about Snake and the Barbarian. And these kids slipped up on them, but it was a grueling battle. And since they've got those titles, it's like they say, enough said, we got them. Somebody's going to take them off of us. And they have really given a great accounting of themselves. I want to thank Joel again for that video of Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Fine young man. Perez, a good amateur background. He's got one of the most beautiful belly-to-back souffles I've ever seen. High arch. And, oh, he just slingshotted Brody Chase and changed his dentures. There you see that tremendous suplex. 1, 2, 3, and the champion again.
That's one of the reasons, maneuvers like that they are the Mid-South Tag Team title holders. Wendell Cooley and Al Perez. We'll be back after this message from Mid-South.
Dick Slater, without a doubt, is one of the most unpredictable athletes in professional wrestling. He's a true mercenary, a man that accomplishes his goals at all costs. But I've known Dick Slater since 1973 in Florida. But he's done something that everybody's trying to figure out. He has a valet, or I don't know really what you call the lady that's with him in her capacity. He calls her Dark Journey, and I don't know what the relationship is, but she did a video for Dick Slater. And Joel, they recorded it and filmed it. It's by the music's Dress You Up by Madonna. I think after you see this video, it's going to make you have an opinion about their relationship.
10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the red corner at 234 pounds from Tampa, Florida, the unpredictable Dick Slater. His opponent, 235 pounds from Louisville, Kentucky, Steve Constant.
Now you heard the introduction. You've heard it earlier from Cowboy Bill Watts, and now from ring announcer Jim Ross, and I'll make it a perfect threesome, as Dick Slater is certainly unpredictable, and now he's going in against Steve Constant.
Boy, first time we saw Steve Constance on wrestling, he had a partner named Tim Ashley. And Tim Ashley was injured in that match. He got a brain concussion. And, you know, in athletics, you got to expect some hard knocks, but Tim Ashley decided professional wrestling wasn't for him. But it's a credit to Tim Constance. He came on his own, and now he's against one of the toughest international stars in wrestling, a man who says he has a mission, that he's been hired by somebody. He has not revealed to us what the mission is or who's hired him or what his purpose is. But Dick Slater doesn't do anything without a purpose. And of course, if you saw that video, again, that relationship is, it's a mysterious thing. He calls her Dark Journey. She seems to be his companion. I don't know if you call her a valet or if it means more than that, just what it is. But right now, Steve Constance is finding out. He's getting a real gut check. He's finding out what it's like to be out there with a man the caliber of Dick Slater. A man that's 250 pounds, 240 pounds, who's quick, agile, vicious. I can assure you Dick Slater is a double tough hombre. Inside cradle, he's got it. Steve Constance comes out. You know, the one thing about being in the position of Steve Constance is you got everything to win and nothing to lose when you're a young rookie going up against a guy like this. And this man's aware of it. It sometimes, if you can not think of Dick Slater and who he is, it could release the pressure on you, because if you could beat him, the whole wrestling world's going to know about it. Dick Slater again, he is just vicious, as you see in the background there, walking along the ringside. Dark Journey. We have Sir Oliver Humperdinck coming up next with Humongous and the Nightmare in a tag match. Then Nick Patrick against Ted DiBiase. Then our television main event, Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake against Dirty Dutch Mantell and El Casario. Next week, right here on TV, Butch Reed will defend the television title. The Fantastics will be here. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Al Perez, and Wendell Cooley next week. We're trying to sign a title match with them against Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams, so Grizzly Smith is still negotiating that. The Sleeper and Dick Murdoch. Carl Berkey's calling for the bell. Dick Murdoch has put Steve Constance, he has shut down the carotid arteries, and Steve Constance is in what you call a state of sleep. It's a form of the blood being shut off to the brain. Now Dick is walking away. It doesn't look like he's going to wake the kid up. Berkey's raised his hand, and Slater's ignoring it. Generally, they're real quick to get out there and get the kid breathing and started again, because you don't want him to stay unconscious too long.
He needs to wake him up right now, Bill.
That's right, because you can have a result of brain damage if you're not careful. That's a dangerous hold. Sometimes people take it a little too lightly, but it's a dangerous hold, as one television host of a talk show found out when a wrestler put it on him and dropped him on the floor, and he got 21 stitches in his head. This is a dangerous hold.
We'll be back now with tag team action after this important message from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
This tag team match on Mid-South Wrestling, one fall, the 10-minute time limit. Introducing first the team in the blue corner at 231 pounds from Atlanta, Don Turner. His partner at 236 pounds from Paducah, Kentucky, Tony Falk.
I'll add to the introductions if you don't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the combination of the Nightmare and from the belly of death, Humongous. Well, I want to take this opportunity right now, as long as I have the microphone, I have your attention to tell you a few things. First of all, the Barbarian was attacked by everybody's favorite Jake the Snake Roberts outside a gymnasium. It didn't happen in an arena, it didn't happen in a ring, it happened on the street. Well, Jake Roberts, if that's the way you want it, that's the way you got it, brother, because I can play the same game as you. Now, criminal charges are pending against Jake Roberts. I don't know if I'm going to take him to court or not, but I'm going to get even with you. And as you can see, I've got the Nightmare with me. The Nightmare is dedicated for one thing. You embarrassed him, Jake Roberts, right here on this television program by pulling that mask off. So he's got your number, Jake Roberts, and he's going to get you any way he can. And as far as Humongous goes, he's been playing around so far, Daddy. I'm pulling out all the stops, and I'm going to show everybody a new dimension of Humongous.
Well, Bill, we heard the explanation, and we also heard the warning from Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
Well, I don't know how you could make Humongous any more vicious than he is, and certainly the Nightmare was embarrassed by Jake the Snake Roberts. And he has seemed to have an added intensity in all of his matches since then, as he starts out with Don Turner out there, and he is hammering him. Humongous seems almost like he's programmed. I mean, there's some control that Humperdinck has over him. That thing where he sticks the two fingers in the eyes there and stops Humongous, it's an eerie control. I don't know if it's some kind of post-hypnotic suggestion or just what it is, but he's an awesome man. It's a lot of mystery surrounding the Barbarian situation. He disappeared. I don't know. Jake the Snake seems very non-committal about it. One face lock by the Nightmare, a powerful man, 290 pounds, solid man, strong. A former North American champion, you got to remember. Tony Falk enters the ring. Tag is made. Tony Falk enters the ring. Now, what is Humperdinck doing to Humongous? He's done something. He touched him up there in that eye area. Seemingly has programmed him into some situation. The Nightmare just ran Tony Falk's face right into that mask, that hockey mask that covers the face of Humongous.
And again.
He just ran it in again. Tony Falk is badly lacerated. His face badly lacerated. Humongous tags in. Look how strong this man is. If that's the warning that Humperdinck has just given to Jake the Snake and Hacksaw Duggan and anybody else that steps in the ring, shit on Amaki. The powerful man walks in, wastes no time, and Tony Falk has just been annihilated, and he has felt the power of Humongous and, of course, the intensity of the Nightmare. Humperdinck, the referee's calling for it. Humperdinck has not stopped the man yet. Now, look at that. Watch that. Humperdinck somehow controls this man.
Going back to where you pointed out, and we'll be back. Nick Patrick versus Ted DiBiase after this word.
This match on Mid-South Wrestling, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the red corner at 258 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska, Ted DiBiase. His opponent in the blue corner at 228 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Nick Patrick.
Ted DiBiase being introduced to the crowd here, and you heard the boos. He takes on Nick Patrick on the outside of the ring. Dr. Death Steve Williams as Carl Fergie calls for the bell and the match underway.
You know, DiBiase came back a couple of weeks ago, and he was highly upset because he'd left Sweet Tan in control of his power of attorney on the Mid-South Tag Team Championships. And, of course, Sweet Tan and Dr. Death had lost those titles. It was definitely an upset to Al Perez and Wendell Coolidge. DiBiase came back, and in his style, 2 weeks ago, he fired Bruiser Bob Sweet Tan. And then he tried to beat him up, and he lost a very expensive custom-made jacket as Sweet Tan ripped the from limb and ripped the clothes right off of him, and Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase have been very, very upset about that situation. Nick Patrick, first time here on Mid-South Wrestling. We understand he's a competent athlete, but we haven't seen him in the kind of competition you face when you come to Mid-South. DiBiase, as he looks to his fan of Dr. Death out there to gain the plaudits from Dr. Death, is pretty cocky out there as he's really powering it in with those forearm smashes to the solar plexus area of Nick Patrick. Coming up, we have Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake next against El Casario and Dirty Dutch Mantell. Remember, next week, Hacksaw Butch Reed defends his TV title. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert will be here. We're trying to negotiate a tag title defense by Perez and Cooley against DiBiase and Dr. Death. Nick Patrick just caught DiBiase with a body slam. He caught him with a series of body slams. This youngster says, hey, your reputation isn't going to win this match. Well, ring-wise, DiBiase popped him a good one. DiBiase shows him that turnbuckle that brings you to a sudden stop like a freeway wreck. And he threw Nick Patrick out on the floor. Dr. Death standing there. He's promised not to interfere, but we've seen that before, Boyd.
We certainly have, and we're watching now.
So is the official. Carl Bergey's keeping his eye on him, but Doc just steps back. Carl Bergey telling Ted DiBiase to let him in the ring. DiBiase made sure he got in while he's still a little bit addled from that fall on the floor there, and DiBiase really pouring it on. That's the mark of a great competitor. That's the mark of the men that are champions. That when they get somebody in a lot of trouble, they don't let up. They bear down. DiBiase certainly ring-wise an international star. He is really punishing young Nick Patrick. That steel cable inside those rubber hoses has no give. It's shut down the air. Come on, Teddy! Oh, DiBiase with a flat of the foot. That's legal. Doc cheering him on. Dr. Death Steve Williams, a powerhouse in his own right. He and DiBiase is certainly one of the most formidable tag teams in the world today. That DiBiase, that suplex. Carl Fergie goes to the cap. DiBiase pulled him up. He wants to punish Nick Patrick. That, I think, I don't care how good you are, becomes a mistake. That's an ego situation that can cause you trouble. When you got a guy beating. See, look at that. DiBiase in a little bit of trouble right there as Nick Patrick got a second chance. But DiBiase quickly kicks it in gear. I think he realized he's fooling around. Now he's going for that figure-4 leg lock that he's the master of. And you can hear Nick Patrick, he's hollering. He's in a lot of agony. Ted DiBiase got it. Nick Patrick made it to the ropes. He made it to the ropes. Carl Fergie calling for the break. DiBiase's got to break the hold.
Bill, he should have taken that victory just a few seconds ago.
Sure should have. DiBiase pulling him back in the ring. DiBiase, Dr. Death just got covered. Bob Sweetan versus Sweetan. He just came out of the clear blue and attacked Dr. Death. I don't think DiBiase's even aware of it. Bruiser Bob Sweetan, he just smacked Ted DiBiase. Sweetan is down there to pounding Dr. DiBiase's going to his tight. He's loading that glove. Sweetan, he didn't come to help Nick Patrick. He just comes to kick some tail. But Nick Patrick just helped Sweetan. It's street style. Carl Fergie calling for the disqualification, certainly. But Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase, they aren't hearing any bells, but the one Sweetan's making off in their heads is the Bruiser, former brass knuck champion. I can attest the fact he's a tough, formidable opponent with a low center of gravity. And Dr. Death and DiBiase left. He'll go in the record books as a win for DiBiase. But Sweetan didn't come to help Nick Patrick, but it's still a disqualification. But Bruiser Sweetan is taken again and humiliated Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death.
And the Wild Tag Team match, Duggan and Jake the Snake versus Mantell and Cosario after this word from Mid-South Wrestling.
It's just...
tag team event on Mid-South Wrestling, one fall or television time remaining. Introducing first the team in the red corner at 236 pounds from Puerto Rico, El Casario. And at 232 pounds from Oil Trough, Texas, Dirty Dutch Mantell. Their opponents at 275 pounds from Glens Falls, New York, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And his partner, the man with a DDT at 251 pounds from Atlanta, Jake the Snake Roberts.
And Bristol fans in anticipation of what a battle and confrontation this will be. Dirty Dutch Mantell and El Casario versus New York's Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Jake the Snake as Tommy Gilbert calls for the bell. It's Jake the Snake against Dutch Mantell and his own.
I guarantee you, boy, if I was Dutch Mantell, I think I'd have left my bullwhip in that dressing room. You know, my daddy said don't take something to a fight that's not chocolate. You might have to eat it. And look at that pair across the ring. Jake the Snake with the most vicious hold in wrestling. Many guys are trying to imitate his hold, but nobody has it like he does with the quickness, the power, the leverage, the DDT. And Hacksaw Duggan, a man that knows no fear, that's liable to take anything you got away from you and beat you to death with it. I mean, this is a great television main event. And we got more next week. Hacksaw Butch Reed is going to defend his TV title right here. Wendell Cooley and Al Perez were trying to negotiate that tag team title match here on television. Ted DiBiase naturally trying to get everything set his way. And of course, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the man who made the most audacious offer on television for all the young ladies that wanted his picture, could write in 25 words or less just why they deserve to get it. He'll be here next week. This crowd, they were chanting Dugan, Dugan, Dugan when they came out, and then the DDT, DDT. And of course, El Casario is like a ship without a rudder with Skandar Akbar gone, but he's a martial arts expert. We know he's deadly. But Jim Duggan, 285 pounds, as you saw earlier. Even the world's champion, Ric Flair, has a new respect for Duggan, and so does everybody that saw that match in its entirety. He's always been known as a great brawler. What a lot of people didn't know is what a great wrestler he is. He's always been known for that great heart. And of course, Jake the Snake going for that mask, and he unmasked the Nightmare here a few weeks ago on TV. And now, of course, the Barbarian mysteriously disappeared, and Humperdinck leveling charges and crying foul. How can any man like Humperdinck cry foul? Jake the Snake caught it in the back. And again, that El Casario, a martial arts expert, dangerous and deadly. Tags in Dirty Dutch Mantell. Dutch, a former TV champion, until Butch Reed took his measure, a man from Waldrop, Texas, who asks no quarter and gives none. And Dutch is trying to get Duggan's goat because everybody knows that Duggan's got a pretty quick temper. Buzz Sawyer today almost had a brawl going during a commercial break. Not easy. It seems like the Dragon, when you give him a challenge, it's like a bull seeing red. Listen, look at that. El Casario just caught Jake the Snake with that thrust kick. Listen to this crowd solidly behind Duggan and the Snake. This is a great main event. These guys are a well-matched team.
And Bill, to back up what you said earlier, I see a lot of wrestling, and a lot of wrestlers are, like you say, they're trying to imitate the DDT, but they cannot duplicate it.
I've seen some of the guys with all the national TV exposure even try it, but you haven't seen anybody be able to do it. Not like Jake the Snake. We're winding down here. This match could go the distance. 2 minutes of airtime left. El Casario pounding away against Jake the Snake. Knee lift at 6'5". Jake the Snake has that tremendous leverage. Tag is made. The big man, Duggan, but they drove Jake to the floor. Duggan's by himself. He's going to have to walk us all by himself. And Duggan is carrying the battle. I don't think he realizes Jake has been not. Dutch Mantell's getting that bullwhip. He just whipped Duggan. Oh, Duggan caught it.
He got it.
Duggan's caught it. Look at him. Duggan's caught it. Oh, Jake the Snake's back in there. Wow, DDT. DDT. And El Casario. El Casario just got the other end of that whip. I think the more effective end. He got the butt end of it. And Jake the Snake and Hacksaw Duggan just won this match against Dutch Mantel and El Casario, Boyd.
They certainly did.
What a great bout. We've had some great matches here. Thanks to Joel for that new video on Wendell Cooley. Also, the video on Dark Journey. Next week, boys, some great bouts.
They are. Hopefully we'll be able to see Al Perez and Wendell Cooley defend their Mid-South titles against Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams. But Butch Reed will be here and will defend his Mid-South Television Championship.
The Fantastics. Hey,
Bobby Fulton, Tommy Rogers from the City of
exciting
Angels.
team.
They'll be here in Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. I hope you'll join us. You saw and liked it this week. There's going to be more of the same. And so far, the greatest commentator I know of, and that's all I can say, and that's good enough, Cowboy Bill Watson. For our other crew that'll join you next week, Jim Ross and Joel Watts, I'm Boyd Pierce saying thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on the Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.